Indiana is ranked 42nd in the country for mental health in regards to high mental illness rate and access to care, with 31% of high school students in the United States reporting feeling sad or hopeless almost every day for 2 or more weeks in a row in the past 12 months and stopped an activity they enjoyed because of it. We saw the need to make a change. Today, we interviewed 3 of them.
What have you struggled with mental health-wise?
All of them were a lot smaller than I was, and starting then, it was just kind of that feeling of being different.
I was diagnosed with anxiety around my second semester freshman year.
That caused a lot of tensions in myself and wondering, what's wrong with me.
So I've been seeing a therapist for anxiety and depression for a year.
But, when I was younger, I didn't really look at that as a mental health thing. I was just kind of saying, it's just a personality me thing.
I'm also transgender, so that brings on a whole new topic of depression, anxiety, social anxiety, gender dysphoria.
I'm on the spectrum for depression and severe anxiety.
I don't know, I think that my mental health is kind of not great.
What are steps that you have taken to improve your mental health?
I've definitely come out of my shell a lot since my freshman year.
I do have my days where things are still really up and down. And there were definitely times where I could be surrounded by a room of people and I would just feel completely alone.
I've tried to stop isolating myself. I learned a lot of good coping mechanisms through
So I started seeing therapists.
more honest and open relationships with my friends, with my family.
The first step I took was crying about it late at night.
I started generally being more open about my emotions.
So from there, I did start sleeping, having adequate amounts of sleep, but I started prioritizing myself over my work, which is a really hard thing for me. Eating healthier.
But yeah, therapy is the one that overall it's helped the most.
What do you think your community or school can do to better help you?
I definitely think that, even in junior high, having people to talk to you there is really important.
I think it's really a question of cutting down on stress.
Because here in Fishers High School, I do see a lot more of that talk happening and a lot more people taking those steps or opening up those steps to other people, and I think that it's great. It's great here. But when it comes to junior high, I didn't have as much of that there, as much as that mentorship or as much of that help when it comes to mental health. I don't think it's there, because I'm sure if I had opened up, they would have done something to help me. But I think that not waiting for someone to ask and just having it out there is one of the best things you can do.
I know, sometimes when people talk about anxiety or depression or their mental health issues, it's seen a lot as begging for attention.
I think that what we've done so far is great, and that it's a much more open conversation. The fact that we're having this interview right now is a great conversation.
If you talk about it, then you don't have it because no one who has it talks about it.
A lot of the times if I'm in a high stress period of time in my life, I get more anxiety attacks. Afterwards, I'm usually more depressed overall. So overall, cutting down on stress and having a place where you can go to actually calm down a bit if you're having an anxiety attack.
That coming to school and hearing somebody say, make jokes about depression, anxiety, or self-harm. So I think as a community, we should kind of open our minds and be less abusive towards people with mental illness.
But even then, I still think that it's a topic of conversation that needs to be talked about, because it's not just a rare thing that people don't want to bring up anymore.
For being more understanding of mental health related absences.
So I think that having more awareness and having people realize that you do have that support is going to help the conversation be a bit more open in itself.
What would you say to someone who is struggling with mental health right now?
I'd say that it gets better.
It does get better, as corny as it sounds.
Get out of my own head.
It'll start looking up if you start trying to help yourself, but you have to be the one to take that first step, even if it seems like you're maybe stepping off of a cliff.
And it took me a long time to get okay with myself.
Talk with someone. Don't rely on your friends to be your therapist. Actually go see someone. I have to talk to my friend every night and make sure that they're not going to kill themselves. I'm that's not your responsibility.
First, you're not alone. There are plenty of people at whatever age group you're at who are also suffering from the same sort of issues. Even if it seems like no one cares or you're completely alone, there are other people who are willing to help you. And then also that it doesn't last forever.
And even if you think you're alone, if you're going through things with family members, if you're going through things with living situations, or anything having to do with your physical health or your mental health, just realize there are people there for you. And
Advice is get help, talk to someone. There's crisis text lines.
As a Hoosier, have you faced a stigma surrounding your mental illness? Anything specific to Indiana or your community?
I think it just, a lot of it mostly stems from my family.
This sort of idea that, you know, depression has become, you know, a joke or something that's not real or something that you're faking or something like that for attention or other reasons is always kind of a thing in the back of my mind, that I know there are people in Indiana specifically and nationwide that think that.
like sometimes being both LGBTQ and then also being African American, it's kind of 2 times the stress, especially, you know, with, we just had board meeting happen. That was a really stressful situation in itself, but I think that it was handled really well. But I would definitely like to say for both communities, stay open to it, and especially rates of suicide and depression in both of these communities when you're in different places is a lot higher than when you're in other places, and I would definitely like to point that out and to definitely tell people to stay open.
Hope for Happiness with Bring Change to Mind, and I know that's one of Mayor Madness's major goals is to decrease stigma around mental health.
I mean, I think there's always kind of an unconscious stigma.
So I think that as a community we're getting better, but we still have a long way to go.
For anyone watching this or for anyone listening to this, definitely just, I'm proud of you. There are people who are proud